All right, and we are back with another Friday reload. Now, the first question you might have is, why am I hearing this on Thursday? Well, the answer is the same reason that I'm hearing fireworks in the background. July 4th, 4th of July, Independence Day is on Friday, so we thought we'd release this one a little bit early on Thursday so you can have a chance to check it out and still enjoy your holiday. If you're a hard worker, entrepreneur, maybe you don't take days off, understandable, then hey, just listen to this on Friday, no worries. Now, some of the top headlines we have this week is Google plus Facebook equals laser targeting, effective email subject line keywords backed by data, and how to design a survey that increases conversions, plus many more. So let's jump right in here with Friday Reload number 9. Now, our first story comes to us from us, and this is how to get AdWords clients, a 10-step system to find and close new clients. Now, I want to say that while we do advertise this as kind of a how to get AdWords clients, it truly is a method to get clients in any industry. You could just as well get social media clients or SEO clients with this same 10-step system. Now, the key is a lot of it really is just how to get clients in general. Now, we talk about how to do mini audits, for example, to qualify and have a reason to contact these clients. But you can adapt that mini audit to any industry that you're in. So don't let that hold you back. Now, also, this was published on Sunday, so we're kind of switching up the schedule. We're publishing posts sometimes on the weekend. You might see another one this weekend, for example. And we're having podcasts come out a little bit differently. We're switching it up a little bit. Now, also covered in this is about closing the deal. So the quick 10-step outline, just so you guys can get a feel for it, is determine your niche, find businesses advertising with Google AdWords or your relevant industry-specific location. Pre-qualify in step 3. Step 4, you complete the mini audit. Step 5, you make contact. Step 6, you retract and qualify. In step 7, you have the actual meeting. Here in step 8, we're going to close the deal. Step 9, we need to determine what to charge. And step 10, we need to figure out our contract and agreement. And our contract and agreement is actually pretty important. Now, why is this important? Well, in Sugarcast episode 3 with Ben Pate, if you listened, you will know that he told us about one time where he lost about $100,000 due to a bad contract. So contracts are certainly important and a very important aspect of that. So we had Ben Pate join us this week. So I had to have a little sip there of water. And what Ben Pate shared with us were some of the lessons he's learned from managing over $10 million in ad spend. Now, this is mainly AdWords. I know he has managed close to 6 figures in Facebook ad spend as well, but this does mainly focus on AdWords. Now, he takes us through his journey, how he first got started, the $100K, as I mentioned, due to the bad contract, how anyone can get started in AdWords, how you can find clients, and he also talks a little bit about the history of AdWords and where he sees paid advertising going. Pretty interesting conversation. Hopefully you've already heard it or checked it out. If not, check it out. Now, our next story is one of our headliners. And this is how Google and Facebook equals laser targeted ads. So this is the first time I've seen Digital Traffic Ace, the blog, and this is a pretty good post. Now, Phil Newton gave me the heads up here, one of our guests actually, and Jeremy from Digital Traffic Ace brings a way to combine both Google and Facebook to really fine-tune your Facebook ads, specifically your targeting. So he focuses on using Google to find out more information based on a buyer's location that can be used in the ads. And the example he gives, he does this for broad interests, and the example is females over 18 who like Weight Watchers. So what Jeremy does is he'll go over into Google Trends, specifically the Explore Trends in Google. There's a link on the blog, but you can find it at Google Trends. Go to the bottom right, click on Explore. And then you will put your interest in, which in this case is Weight Watchers, and he will edit the interest so it only shows over the past 12 months. Now, the great data really comes in when you look through the regions. So we're going to select the top region, which will be United States that we're interested in. Once we select that region, we're going to get subregions, so states, top metro areas, and top cities. So with that information, we can go back into Facebook, plug it in, plug in some of these top, say, 5 cities and 25 miles around them, and we know now that we're most likely to find people that are going to interact with the ad. Now, on the blog, on our blog, digitaltriggers.io, that is where we have the video, and you can find it, and you can also find a link to the full article if that sounds pretty cool. I mean, this is a pretty cool way. I like crossing the swords of data as the image kind of shows us. And coming up, I mean, it's a pretty interesting way to use Google to kind of verify what you're doing on Facebook and then really dial into this very targeted segment. And if you do well with that segment, then you can easily expand outward from there. Next up, we have the grass flip-flops. Well, not really, but we have buy now buttons are starting to appear in tweets. Is Twitter shopping finally here? So this comes to us from Recode. And what they've seen is buy now buttons within Twitter's mobile app. And they also spoke with some different people to see if other people were seeing these buy now buttons or not. And one of the people that they spoke with actually saw a checkout page open within the Twitter app after clicking the button. Now, there's some different speculation over it being the fancy app and some other things around that, but after the Amazon cart, the hashtag Amazon cart, which allows you to add something to your Amazon cart from Twitter, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Now, Twitter does have the pressure of the IPO bearing down on their back, and they have been doing more and more ad-based improvements, especially Twitter cards. So it'll be interesting to see if this becomes a thing, and where will it take you to a shopping cart? Is the shopping cart going to be within the Twitter app? How is that going to work? Next up, we have a big one, and this is how to design a survey that leads to increased conversions. So this is coming to us from Conversion XL, and quantitative data is a very big thing on the internet. Quantitative data is generally, so if your bounce rate's too high, or if most of the people aren't staying on your site long enough, it's going to tell us that something is wrong. So analytics, heat maps, things of that nature. Now, qualitative data is going to give us the answer as to why something might be wrong. So quantitative will point out where things are wrong. Qualitative will say why they're wrong. Now, the best way to get this qualitative data is typically surveys. And we're not talking about the, are you satisfied with your results today, or are you satisfied with the service you received, 1 to 5 rating. We're talking more about good questions and getting good answers. So one of the focuses and examples they use is Noah Kagan. So he recently launched his How to Make $1,000 a Month business, or when he did launch it, he launched it to a highly targeted list of 30,000 people. And can you guess how many sales it made? 30 people. So that's I think a 0.1% conversion rate, which is off the charts low. So he started surveying to those who showed interest, clicked through, for example, but didn't buy. Now, using the survey results, he did a landing page redesigned, and one of the things he added that was pretty cool was an image. I don't know if this was pre-survey or after survey, but it was what business do you want to start? And it's 4 different people: digital product, physical product, consulting, and self-branding. And you can click on each of these different people, and then their story comes up. So what you're probably thinking now is, kind of where should you start and who should you survey? Well, this is going to depend on the outcome that you're looking for and how your current customer segments are set up. So that being said, some examples: if you want to improve your buying process, survey brand new buyers and the people who didn't buy. If you want to start a loyalty program to improve customer retention, survey frequent buyers. If you want to start a VIP program for top spenders, then survey customers who spend a lot of money with you. So figure out the data you want and then go to those people that make sense and ask them questions. So in the example that we mentioned with Noah, he went after the people who clicked but didn't purchase. What he ended up finding out is that it was mainly because they were afraid, they didn't know if it would work in their country, were unsure if the program would work for them, had failed before, and didn't know how this time would be different. So he updated the landing page to address these problems, and the change in conversions, he didn't have a specific data number, but he said that it literally changed the product overnight. Now, the next thing that you're probably thinking when you hear about this is surveys sound great, but no one's going to respond. So the next thing that they addressed is how to get people to actually respond to these surveys. So Conversion XL says the best way to get customers to take action and fill out the survey is some sort of reward, whether it be a gift card, coupon code, or free shipping. And you will actually learn that free shipping does extremely well as a subject line in one of our next stories. So the size of the prize itself, this should be kind of relative to your company and the amount of people you expect to respond. So if you are a 9-figure company, you can probably afford a pretty nice prize. If you are a 6-figure company, then your prize should be a bit more relative. Also, it is in relation to how many people you expect to respond. I'm planning on doing some sort of giveaway, and one of the things that I want to do is have it so that it is based on the amount of people that actually do respond. So if 10 people respond, for example, maybe we give away one thing. If 100 people respond, we give away 10 things. So that if a lot of people end up responding, everyone still feels like they have a good chance of getting something and winning something. Now, for the actual survey invitation email, you want to keep this as short and sweet and simple as possible. Mention how long the survey is actually going to take or how many questions it is, and use fairly short deadlines of up to a week and send reminder emails before the deadline. Now, the reality is that the majority, around 80%, they found in their testing of answers will come within the first 24 hours of sending the email. Now, in the article, they also go over their email template, and they go over specific question examples. What can you tell us about yourself? What are you using product for? How's your life better thanks to it? And so on. So if you want to dig a bit deeper into that, definitely check out the article. It's something I like because too often we forget and we just go new customers, new customers, new customers, instead of figuring out, hey, why did people buy and why did people not buy? Next up, we have this adorable little elephant, this paper elephant, and this is the best stock photo I've ever used. I'm in love, and the love is an emoji, which I think is cute. So this is from OK Marketing, and this is a post raving about the Dollar Photo Club. Now, good photos are always an issue if you're doing any kind of digital marketing, any kind of content marketing, any kind of ads, any kind of social media. Images are big on the web. We know that. So with the Dollar Photo Club, how it works is you pay $10 per month and then just $1 per photo. Now, they don't have just photos, but they also have vectors and illustrations as well. They seem to have a pretty good search ability. I'm pretty actually impressed by it, and this is one of the biggest problems with most stock photo sites. For example, you can even search using the hex color. So jump in and take a look. You can even search around even if you are not a member. Next up, we have, you can see here on the sidebar, if you saw this cool looking iPhone with the trigger cast within it, well, that came to us from Mockup Phone. So this is the one-click to wrap app screenshots in device mockup. Now, what I like about this is you have iPhones. I'm going to scroll down here. You have iPads, you have iPad minis, you have Androids, Windows Phone, TVs, and even the iMac. So what you do is you simply upload your photo, and then it's going to place it within this, whichever you choose. So if you choose an iPhone or an iMac, and then you'll get an email that you can download with it at a few different angles. Very cool, very awesome little tool. I like when I can do things myself and I don't have to, rely on, for example, a graphic designer to just put a simple photo within, an iPhone. So pretty cool little trick there, pretty cool little tool. Next up, we have a very data-heavy post, and it's almost just ironic how many popovers I've been hit with on all these different articles, because last week I was talking so much about popovers. Anyways, this is the most and least effective keywords in email subject lines. Now, this is a nice juicy post with a lot of data if that's the kind of thing that you're into. They cover overall keyword effectiveness, and they also break it down into B2B and B2C emails. Now, some of the standouts include, and this is their open rates: alert at plus 38.1%, report at negative 23.7%, learn at negative 35.5%, daily at 27.8%, weekly at 27%, alert at plus 38%. I already said that one. It happens. Video at plus 18%, and webinar at minus 16%. They also talk about the click rate and the click to open rate and the unsubscribe rate. So you can really drill down here into the data. An interesting example might be exclusive, which has a 12% open rate versus the average, but the unsubscribe rate is 22% higher. Also, free delivery has a 50% open rate, but an 82.4% unsubscribe rate versus the average. So a lot of cool, interesting, different data here that we have going on. And if you're an email marketer, or hey, even if you do copywriting, it's definitely something interesting and worth checking out. Speaking of copy, and I actually did not plan this one out for the record, but next up we have how to write better copy while barely trying, 6 foolproof tips. So Search Engine Watch here has an article on how to write this better copy while supposedly barely trying. One of the good things it does is provide a great outline and a few different tips. What I've noticed with beginners, and the biggest problem I think with copywriting, is people don't know where to start. I mean, this is really the biggest thing with, hey, anything. So by having some kind of guide, by having some sort of outline, some sort of system, it's more about just filling in the blanks. And that's where people don't stress out about it as much and don't think about it as much, and they're able to actually jump through it and get it done. So the basic tips or steps are provided below. So number one, write for your audience. You need to understand your audience or target demographic to truly write great copy. Metz provided an excellent comment on this blog post in relationship to this. Who are they? What do they want? What do they need? What pain are they experiencing? How do they find solutions? Next, master the opening. Headlines are everything, but lead sentences are also important. A good lead sentence is going to pull the reader in quickly. So some examples are personal experience, a bold statement, a problem that needs a solution, an opinion, a riddle, though I can't tell you the last time I saw a post with a riddle, or a quotation. Number three, write about what's at stake. So tell them about the benefit they'll experience if they buy a product and what they'll miss out if they don't buy it. Missing out, or fear of missing out, is a huge thing with our culture, especially with the online culture that has developed. People are afraid to miss out on things. They're afraid to miss out on sales. They're afraid to miss out on products. It's kind of just a nice flip and a nice play on scarcity. Number four, present a complete story. So these elements should be included in your story arc. It should identify the problem, show the benefit of taking action, showing what the correct action is, and then making it easy for the customer to act. Number five, write, then edit, then write again. So somewhere along the line, editors got killed by the internet. Now, the best writers and bloggers, I think, typically have a separate human being that does editing for them, or at the very least, they do their rough draft and then edit it out. So this should be a completely separate time from writing. And number six is cut out the jargon. Make sure you edit out the jargon, which is basically try to cut the fluff as best you can. Now, next up we have how to write a magnetic headline in under 15 minutes. So this was actually Copy Blogger's first podcast. And what I did is I actually went through the transcription and listened to it a bit to give you some of the important bits. And if you want to check out the full transcription or the audio on their site, by all means. So first is, and I'm going to say his last name wrong, I'm going to feel horrible about it because he's a direct response legend. David Ogilvy's, close to that, immortal advice on what makes headlines work best. Quotations, the headlines which work best are those that promise the reader a benefit. Why making a promise in your headline is so important and how to do it. I think the most essential element of a magnetic headline is, of course, making a promise of some kind of benefit. Whenever we talk about copywriting, I usually talk about the formulas that are used. One of the formulas that I like in creating content, particularly sales letter and blog posts, is the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps are promise, paint the picture, proof, and then push. But it's the first part, that promise part, that we're talking about right now when we talk about a headline. So you want to make a promise or some kind of benefit in the headline. Next, they talk about how to incorporate the 4 U's into your headline. Speaking of formulas for writing headlines, one of my favorite and probably best used is what they call the 4 U's. That amounts to a headline that is ultra specific, unique, urgent, and useful. So pretty great tips there, and they really boiled it down. And I like the 4 Ps, the 4 U's, and the emphasis on benefits. That kind of feeds back into where we talk about fear of missing out and showing them what they're going to miss out if they don't buy your product. Now, if you want the full, check it out. They have a few different tips, why specific is better than vague, best practices for actually writing headlines, and a few other tips on headlines. Now, the last thing that we have all the way at the bottom here is 31 case studies on conversion optimization. So this is a good closeout. It's a big slide share by Kissmetrics showing 31 different case studies, all based around conversion optimization. So the slide share is below, but you can also watch the webinar replay. We have a link on the blog as well. Now, it covers some of the topics shown in the picture below, which are headline tests, removing page elements tests, trust and security tests, video tests, and miscellaneous tests. Now, I want to say I love slide shares for comment. I mean, you can go through this at your own pace, or you can quickly, click through compared to what is a 50-minute webinar. So I'm going to touch on one of these. But first, I want to say that's basically going to close it out for the Friday Reload. Everyone enjoy your long weekend, and we plan to have a few surprise podcasts over the weekend. Let us know what your favorite story of the week is. Get in touch with us, interact with us. You can connect with us on the blog, digitaltriggers.io, or reach out to us on Twitter at digtrig. So that's DIGTRIG, like Digital Triggers abbreviated. Gotcha. So one of these case studies that they share is 37 Signals. So 37 Signals, their original headline was Start a High-Rise Account, Pay-as-you-go, 30-day free trial on all accounts, no hidden fees. The winner that was 30% better than the original was 30-day free trial on all accounts. Sign up takes less than 30 seconds. Pick a plan and get started. The second place, which did 27% better, still a lot, is 30-day free trial on all accounts, pay as you go, no long-term contracts, no hidden fees, no surprises. And the third place, which was 15% better, is start a high-rise account today. Pay as you go, no long-term contracts, no hidden fees, no surprises. And there's a fourth place, but that's about enough. So just a little taste of that. Definitely worth looking through. Some very cool different little tests there. And I love tests and I love data. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope that you either catch us on the weekend or we check in with you again on next Tuesday.